Hello everybody. Sorry it's been a little while between conversations, but there's been a lot going on. Today I'd just like to take some time to give you a broad update around what's going on post-disaster reconstruction across the region following the Cyclone Debbie incident earlier this year. It was a very big challenge and there's been a lot of work going on. And I'd open up by just acknowledging local road conditions in many parts of the region, particularly on our gravel road network, have deteriorated significantly, both due to the flooding and the stormwater damage caused by ex-tropical cyclone Debbie. Now, I'm not sure about it. I'm not happy about it either. One thing I am sure of, the conditions that we have at the moment aren't where we want to be in the future. But I also realise that we can't control the forces of nature, and so when you get an event like Debbie and you get the most destructive natural disaster to hit our region in 2 decades, you can expect a lot of fallout. So the reality is the damage is so extensive we just can't fix it overnight. To give you a bit of an idea, let me give you some summary of that. Almost half the roads across the Scenic Rim have sustained some degree of damage, and the cost to repair that is going to exceed $40 million. Our damage assessment of all 1,316 sealed and unsealed local roads within the region has found that 592 of those sustained damage. Now, I'd like to be able to tell every resident the affected roads in their area are next on the list for repair. In reality, this is going to be at least an 18-month program of disaster reconstruction. So this means that your particular road might be repaired in month 1, month 6, or even month 18. But it will be repaired. And it will be done as quickly as possible in a systematic and prioritised manner region-wide. I thank you for your patience in the meantime. I understand that doesn't make life easy. I can provide you that assurance that it will be repaired because all levels of government, local, state and federal, recognise the cost of restoring such widespread damage is beyond our capacity as local councils and ratepayers. As a nation, we are fortunate that in Australia, funding is set aside under the Natural Disaster Relief and Recovery Arrangements to support communities recovering from the destructive forces of nature. For Scenic Rim, the damage bill from ex-tropical cyclone Debbie is close to 1.5 times our annual roads and bridges budget. However, the NDRRA scheme is not a blank cheque. There are approval processes to ensure councils and contractors are delivering value for money outcomes through the process. To date, submissions from Scenic Rim with a recommended value of approximately $6.5 million have been approved by the Queensland Reconstruction Authority, which oversights NDRRA here in Queensland. Many eligible projects will require extensive planning and design, which will take some time to complete before restoration works can commence. I'd also acknowledge that there's been extensive work by council officers to actually do the detailed grunt work necessarily to accurately quantify that damage to put forward the submissions to seek that funding. Failure to do that adequately before we commenced work would have left this community exposed to carrying the cost of many of those repairs ourselves without NDRRA support. The implication of that has been felt in other local government areas in Queensland previously, with very large financial exposure being foisted across their ratepayers in the form of levies or in suspension of any other plan for a long period of time to recover those costs. I do not think that is the right thing to do for our region. So we have lodged a significant number of submissions, along with the submissions for repair, for betterment funding for disaster damaged roads. Now, if these are successful, and we're very confident many of them will be, that would see sections of the road restored to a more resilient standard than pre-disaster condition. And what does that mean? It means that if we get another event, and there's nothing to say we won't, given the history of the last 7 or 8 years, then the road should stand up to that in better condition. Immediately after Cyclone Debbie's aftermath, Council spent approximately $1.4 million in that post-disaster period on emergent works, completing those emergency repairs that got critical road infrastructure and connectivity back in action. And again, I would commend to you that that was an amazing effort across a very broad range of the region to achieve that in a very efficient way by council officers, council staff, as well as supporting some of the state road network, which also needed improvement. Subsequently, we've delivered a further $1.8 million in approved restoration work already under the NDRRA. We are spending money on those repairs, and they are being delivered on the ground already. Once again, remember, month 1, month 6, month 18, you might not be in month 1. While this is occurring, Council is also committed to undertaking what we realise will be the need for temporary remedial works in some areas to support continued use of its road network. The reality is those repairs won't be at a full standard that we would like or expect or think is reasonable as a final outcome. However, they will be to ensure that it is possible to have safe passage on our road system. Residents with specific concerns should be contacting Council if they're concerned about conditions in their particular area or that they have a major move of some form and they're concerned about a section of road. Talk to us. We'll try to be problem solvers with you on how to achieve a reasonable outcome given the constraints that I've already talked about. On the existing unsealed road network, motorists, again, as we've urged previously in the press, we urged after floods, I will urge and urge again, drive to the prevailing conditions. Even when roads are well maintained, no matter how confident you are that you know the road perfectly, things can change really quickly. So we urge you, drive to the conditions as they appear each day, not as you remember them from your last trip 2 months ago. Just to go into a bit more detail, this is what some of that damage looks like now that we've quantified. About 400 kilometres of unsealed road sustained damage that will require, for us, 500,000 tonne of gravel to repair. That's a lot of road that has disappeared, and that's a long piece of work to complete. More than 30,000 square metres of sealed pavement also needs to be repaired. That'll mean the base needs to be repaired as well as then the seal being placed back on top. We have 10 floodways that need further work and 3 bridges that require reconstruction. So there is no doubt it is going to be a busy time. In practical terms, for us as council, getting these repairs done means we are going to be working with our own resources, with contract resources, with resources we engage from other local government areas perhaps, so that we can expand our plant resources, our works resources, to deliver this program as expeditiously as safely possible. This is going to be a long effort, and we are going to look at every solution we can to make it as painless and efficient as possible. And the goal is, of course, that we bring our road network up to a standard that is satisfactory to serve the needs of our community. You know, one of the ironies of life is that we went from a massive flood event that dropped way too much water across our region in too short a time and created all that havoc. We're now in the middle of a very extended dry period, and everywhere I go people are concerned about the lack of rain. One of the side effects of that is that it also hampers our ability to get on with construction and, pardon me, improvement of our road network in a number of areas, because we can't get easy access or close access to those works locations to water to be able to work on the preparation of road base and to actually get the compaction, etc., that we need to do those works. So we're going to work within all of those constraints to get on with delivering this program. We're also continuing with our normal works program because the rest of our road network still needs to be maintained. If we don't do that, we're just putting another problem out there for the next 3 years' time. And I'm not prepared to do that. I don't think that's responsible. Getting on with that work as well as this is a challenge. Our team are committed. It's been great to see the enthusiasm and the solutions that they're putting into this space to get on with the job. So look, I just wrap up by saying I get that it's no fun when your gravel road is corrugated and dusty. I get that it's no fun when you've got to slow down or your teeth feel like they're chattering out of your head sometimes. Please slow down, drive to the conditions. Please be patient. We are doing everything we can think of to get through this as quickly as possible. It is a massive job and we will move as fast as we can. Again, please be patient, please work with us, and if you believe you have a situation that needs urgent attention, call us. Have a good day.